Okay, Grant. Just checking in, showing you what's going on here with the champ. Everything is going fine. In fact, I would say better than fine. Champ, I would say at this point, I would call him force fetched. He is nicely responding to pressure, and obedience is looking really good. I do have to tell you a funny story. We worked through force fetch and working with the e-collar fetch. I don't remember if I showed you that in the last video or not, but we're using the e-collar for fetching, and he has responded very nicely to this. In fact, he actually responds a lot better to the e-collar than to ear pressure. It works better for him. So we get everything right in the shop, and then we take it outside. So we kind of get it right in here in a controlled environment before we go somewhere else. Well, we go outside, and I was doing some retrieving with him, just throwing the little bumper, and we were doing our drill, come here, come into heel, and sit down. And he went and picked up that first bumper, and he glanced back at me, and he just took off. And I thought to myself, champ, that was a poor decision because he had the e-collar on. So I lit him up. And I hit him pretty hard. And let's just say he has decided to come to Jesus. He was like, okay, don't do that. I got it. And we made it very clear I did not want him to take off and run away, that he is supposed to pick it up and come straight back. And since then, we've probably done 100 more reps outside, and he's been perfect. So he definitely got the message. And a lot of times in retriever training, everything is about timing, getting a timely correction so that the dog understands, don't do that. And that was exactly what he needed at exactly the right time. And it really made a big difference. So what we've been doing with e-collar fetch, is exactly like we have everything else here. Heel. Right. Heel. Now, come here. He's trying to guess which side I want him on. Here. Good. Fetch. Good. Heel. Good. Here. Heel. Sit. Give. So he's fetching nicely. We can throw the stick on the ground. Here. Heel. Sit. Give. And he's one of the things that some people really want to haggle over is how you what we call receive the dog. So usually in the retriever world, we have the dog come all the way into heel and they're looking back out before we take the bird from them. We do this because if a dog has multiple retrieves, we we want them to be able to see where they were going. That we want them back in the same position where they were. Champ really likes being out in front of me. And at this point, I'm not fighting him on this position because Champ is really, really good when he locks in on me. And so right now, man, he is in the zone. He is locked in on me. And he is looking at me saying, what are we doing next, boss? Right. And that's the thing that really works well for him. So later on, if we want to polish up coming into the heel position, at left side looking out, we can. But right now, it's working really well with him. I'm receiving him in front. And some retriever people do it this way, to come to me and take the object to me. Because that keeps the focus on us so that the dog doesn't go off and do something stupid. All right. So I'm not going to fight it. If you really want me to change it, we can, but it's not worth fighting. So he's picking up everything nicely. Birds are going really well also. Here, heel, sit, give. This is a frozen blue-winged teal that we're using here. I shoot a lot of blue-winged teal. Actually, I shoot them. I think every blue-winged teal I've shot in the last 5 years, I've shot right behind my kennel building. For some reason, the teal love piling in that little hole back there, and it's 40 yards across. So when they're coming into that hole, there's no place to hide. So every teal I shoot goes in the freezer. But teal are great because they're basically about the size of a bumper. So it's easy for the dogs to pick them up, and I keep them frozen so that they're hard. So it's really is like a feathered bumper. Now I'm going to go ahead and step it up a notch, and I'm going to use a hen mallard. Now at a hunt test, the dog will pick up. They will be mallards. Almost certainly, it will be a mallard or a mallard-sized duck. Um, I don't think I have ever seen it not be a mallard, and they're all pen-raised mallards. This one actually was a pen-raised bird. I bought some last fall. Then we shot them for flyers and then threw them in the freezer. So the hens are a little bit smaller, so I try to go up in increments. And also, this one is frozen as well, so it gives the dog something a little bit bigger to grab hold of, and it's not quite so like flopping around like a totally big old drake that's hot and fresh killed. Good, good boy. So his mechanics of picking up and retrieving here, good, sit, give, good boy, are solid. Like he's not giving me any problems. And even if he did drop it, like right here, like if he accidentally drops it, I could get him to pick it back up. Give, good boy, good. Right here, fetch. Like he is fetching on command, and really I would say that's one of his strengths. He has a very strong natural inclination to grab and hold. This is actually a really helpful thing because in the event that he does drop a bird, we can have him pick it back up. Now, when we're doing our training out in the field, I am using mallard drakes, and this one's actually really old and dried out and stinky and nasty. And when you go to a test, sometimes the birds get pretty rank, especially if it's like if it's a 2-day test. Yeah, some of the other dogs are excited about it. Sometimes the birds get pretty rank because like we may reuse them, you know, 2 dozen times or something. They may get soaking wet, they get nasty. So I try to use my birds until they're like almost unrecognizable. All right. So what I'm going to do is we'll just do the exact same thing with this big old mallard. Good boy. Here. Sit. Give. Good boy. So the mechanics are great. I'm happy with Champ. Here. Good. Sit. Give. I had no concerns. None. Like I don't have a single concern about him. We have been doing some actual marks in the field, and I'll send you some video next time we do marks. And Champ, I went ahead and put him with what I called the big dogs, meaning dogs that were confident were hunt test ready, and he just smashed it. He looked great. Unfortunately, I screwed up the video, so I didn't have that video to send. But we'll be doing a lot more of those over the next 4 weeks, so you can get a good look at him. The first test we're going to run is going to be, it's called Lone Star HRC. That will be down in Dallas, and I'm going to do that the weekend of March 21st. So that's like 3.5, 4 weeks from now. There's a couple things we'll have to do registration-wise, some little paperwork stuff. It's very easy. I'll help you through all that so that we can get him signed up and get him properly registered to run that test. And I'm confident he's going to smash it. At this point, I have no concerns at all. And what we'll be doing over the next several weeks is prepping him for the test experience. So some things that he'll see is kind of the way that he will see the marks, riding in the trailer, because we'll need him to load in and out of the trailer, using holding blinds. There's several little pieces that he needs to see in the next few weeks that he'll do it. So assuming everything goes well, I would expect him to run at Lone Star and get his first 2 passes, and then hopefully we'll do the first weekend of April. There's a test in Tulsa, Oklahoma that I go to every year. That's is a great one to go to, and at that point he would be finished. So if everything goes according to plan, he would be finished with his first title the first weekend of April. If he wanted to do more tests, he could do more. We could also work on a second title, which would be AKC Junior Hunter. He could also smash that as well. It's just a question of time and money and how far you want to go, what you want to do. I like the HRC ones. We do those first because they are very hunter oriented. Like you got to wear camo, you're blowing duck calls, you shoot a gun right there. It's very much like what you would do for a regular duck hunt. So I like that one best. I feel like it's the most appropriate for those of us who actually use our dogs for hunting. They're not just field competitors that do both. So anyway, Champ's doing great. I couldn't be much happier. He's delightful. I mean, look at him. He's sitting here like an angel. He's such a good boy. His obedience has come around so well. He's actually really like he and I've kind of bonded. Like we kind of hit it off. You know, he and I kind of we're doing good. So I'm really happy with Champ. No problems. He's a great dog.